Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I think I'm doing fantastic. I think I'm recording, but it didn't make the ding that it normally does.
What?
I think I have my volume off, though.
Well, you got the seconds running, so...
I guess that's a good sign that it's going.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So, we had to go into the vault last week.
We had to go into the vault. Yep.
It was tragic, wasn't it?
It was tragic.
We had a tough time. I didn't feel good.
You didn't feel good? We tried the podcast. I said, okay.
I was hateful.
It's just mean. Like, has Mean Girls 2 come out?
Probably, but I should have been in
Mean
it.
Girls and the lead. I said, okay, we're not posting this.
I am Regina George.
Because I'm like, okay, you just being mean.
Yeah, we tried to go to Epcot to perk me up. I was mean at Epcot.
You was mean. You was mean to the birds.
Everything was.
Why you flying?
I know. Why it's a grass green?
I'm like, okay.
I bet I owned my meanness.
I mean, you had no choice. I mean,
mean,
yeah, you're right. You did own it. I was like, it's one of those days. We need to pull in the vote. We got something. Post it.
Yeah, we ain't gonna be able to get it done.
We just gotta make extra ones coming up.
I mean, honestly,
gotta just when the business season's starting, it's starting actually. You just gotta pull out some extra ones.
So, guess what is this week?
What?
Halloween. Spooky Halloween.
Whoa, Nelly.
I'm so excited. So excited. And you're going to come to my Halloween shindig.
Whoa, Nelly.
Why do you say Nelly?
I don't know. It just makes sense.
I don't. I mean, like, woo would be a ghost. Then you added Nelly and it's a horse.
I wasn't trying to be.
So are you like the headless horseman?
I wasn't trying to be anything Halloween. So how about that?
You're such a party pooper.
Thank you.
You know that it's fun. You know it's fun.
Yeah,
I'm
a lot of fun.
I'm so excited. I'm going to cook.
Oh, good for you.
It'll be better for you.
Maybe. Yeah. I'll tell you.
I'm making them jalapeno poppers.
If my stomach say,
I'm making those jalapeno poppers. Last time I made those, your stomach said you liked them.
Yeah, pretty good.
Really? They were just pretty good?
That's it. Why? Hold on. Why are you getting so... are you still angry?
Because you were saying how fantastic they were, and you were upset that they were gone the last time that I made them, and now they're just pretty good that we're recording? That's what we're doing? Huh.
Are you okay?
I guess you sing okay.
Are you okay? Listen.
It's okay. It's fine.
I'm not depressed.
Nothing
Hey,
fantastic.
podcasters, and this is how she switches. I want y'all to hear this.
And you see how I get triggered.
Listen, it's just like a light switch. Click. Hi, everything is going, and click.
The click was you not liking my jalapeno poppers. Anyone can see that.
Whoa, Nelly.
Stop with the Nelly.
Whoa.
There you go. Stop it there. That makes it seasonal.
Nelly.
I'm sorry. He's weird.
Yes, ma'am. I am.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Nothing.
I'm not going to ask you if you've been busy because I know that answer.
It's been a fantastic week. It was crazy busy, but oh my goodness, fantastic. It's fantastic.
I mean, listen, you impress me. You get on my nerves, but you impress me.
Well, thank you.
Like, he put on a show, and it was a fantastic show. Like, great. And I have never in my life seen someone do so many different things in 4 days. Like, I mean, we could go to 5 days, 6 days. Like, I could probably, but just to put it out there. Wait, what'd you do Thursday? You did something Thursday.
I don't remember. Sat in on the Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra rehearsal.
Okay, so yeah, that's when it starts.
Yeah.
Really? Like, you did stuff all week, but that was when it really started.
Mm-hmm. Sat in on the rehearsal. Then the next day, something.
Friday's when it started. Friday, you go get a U-Haul.
Yeah.
You do a tour of the greater Orlando area collecting instruments in a U-Haul.
Shout out to West Orange High School band director Kim Boyd and the crew. Thank you for allowing me to use some of your instruments. Shout out to Jones High School band director Bruce Green for allowing me to use some of their instruments. And just shout out to everyone that was included in the performance.
So he got a U-Haul and he went to these schools like at 11 o'clock at night and put them after football, right?
Yep.
After a football game, and put them on a U-Haul. And then next morning, drove said U-Haul to Dr. Phillips.
Performing Arts Center. Yep.
I had a big show all day long. Rehearsals and the show, and I went to the show, obviously. And it was absolutely fantastic. Loved it. Thought it was amazing. After that, he then loaded instruments back onto U-Haul.
Drove it to your shop.
Drove it to my shop because he had to move the U-Haul. Whew, that was an event.
And then the next morning, I had to get up early and go to Southeastern University.
So basically, he had to drive to Tampa. Had to get up at 6, drive to Tampa, then speak, turn around, drive back. That morning, this is all on Sunday, do his church work for church worship. Good Lord.
Okay, for real. Lead worship at church.
There we go. At church worship. Then left there, turned around, drove back, had to do a session there.
Yeah, that was what it was. Is for those who are listening, is the Florida Collegiate NAFME conference. Basically, NAFME is National Association, for music educators, students who are, and it's the collegiate level. So anyone who is going to be a music educator, be it band, chorus, elementary, opera, orchestra, all levels of music. They have collegiate chapters, and the Florida chapter this year was held at Florida Southern University. Shout out with Dr. Belfast and his wonderful crew. And so all these teachers who are trying to be educators from Florida converged at Florida Southern for a full day of lectures and so on and so forth, of other professionals. And I was honored to be the keynote speaker for that. And so it was really neat just to talk to, up and coming teachers who are getting ready to go into the field and doing that kind of good stuff, and then do a little conducting session. So I was very honored, and it was a lot of fun.
Then he turns around and comes back after that. And at 9 p.m., he was a judge on America's Got Choir. Or, was that what it was called? Something like that. America's Got Choirs?
Yeah.
But it was on the West Coast is when it started. It was like 6 o'clock West Coast time. West Coast. Good Lord, I should not be the speaker today.
That's okay.
West Coast time. Mm-hmm. It's my shortness of breath. It's getting me. But so it didn't start his time until like 9. So you basically went on like what?
To 9 to 11 something.
No, but I mean like you ran on fumes for 4 days.
Yeah.
And then the next day you had to get up early, meet me at my shop to move the truck. Yep. So it wasn't in the way.
And then drop the truck back, drop the
instruments back, then drop the truck off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just crazy. Whole thing was absolutely crazy, and it stressed me out to watch it. I did crafts this weekend.
Mm-hmm. And how was that?
It was fun.
Okay. That relaxes you, doesn't it?
Yes.
Why? I mean, how? What does it do? Does it like focus your mind on the
No, really. I kind of watch my murder programs and do my crafts.
I don't see how that matches. Oh, that's how you kill them.
Basically.
And that's how you get rid of the body.
Which, let me tell you.
Let me tell you something. There's a picture of this wonderful tree I just made.
Literally.
And I'm relaxed.
I like creative stuff, but I like murder. So it's like.
You like watching murder. Okay.
Well, I don't want to watch the murder. I just I'm intrigued by the stories of what happened. But guys, there is a show called You on Netflix. If you've not seen it, my daughter told me about it and I watched it, and it's murdery and stalkery. Trigger warning. If something like that has happened to you, it could really bother you. But luckily, I was cool with it. It's a good show.
If they got murdered, you say, okay.
Stalky.
Yeah.
There's like,
if you got murdered, this will bother you. Well, they're not.
Yeah. Well, just saying, trigger warning. Could be. Don't know. But yes, I started watching that. And then I watched the show you saw me watch the show for part of it, and you're like, "What in the world are you watching?"
What was it?
When you came by here,
What is it?
it was the one with the serial killers, and they're just saying how they did it, and you're like, "Who is that woman?"
Weirdest. I'm like,
I
was obviously lying, but she was telling the truth. I'm like, you lying?
she's on death row.
I mean, you chilling on death row.
She had on some black eyeliner too,
with a Coke and a smile. I'm like,
yeah.
That's a no thing. I was like, why you watch that stuff?
And her daughter, who lived in Ghana, with the braids. Remember?
I think that's what inspired your murder kit.
What that?
So like, if anything happens to me, this is my.
No, but let me tell you what I heard today. Speaking of murder.
Don't. Wait for it.
No, this was great. If you are ever stranded, lost somewhere, and your phone is about to die, change your voicemail to where you're located, what you're doing, where you're going. So like if you said, "Hey, my phone's about to die," or if you're out of service, you can change your voicemail.
Yeah, and if someone's following you, hey, Tyrone is following me, and just leave the name. I'm just why I gotta be Tyrone?
Why?
Charles.
Why do you have to change it? Because we're saying though, think about that. Think if I was lost in the woods and my phone was about to die, and I said, "I'm lost in the woods. I have on this, this, and this, and I'm heading due north. And this is where I'm at this point." And you tell them what you see. They at least have a starting point rather than your car at the parking lot.
Well, that's true. And then you look at the woods and see what it looks like and just say,
into the thick of it.
No, I'm with Harry Potter. Get a Harry Potter. Oh.
I don't get it at all.
I know. It was a stretch. But boom.
That joke missed.
I mean, for real. Thanks. No, you just hit a trigger.
Oh gosh! I was waiting for it to come. Like I thought there was more.
Keep talking.
I'm just saying.
I said keep
keep talking. So anyway, because of everything that I saw this weekend, I picked the topic. I've told you about it, though. I'm trying to act like I was going to present it to you, and that would be so callous and cold of me if I just presented you with this topic to talk about. I didn't talk to you about it first. It would be so mean.
It wouldn't be mean.
It would be mean.
No, because the expectation would be I would be on this podcast doing it.
I know, but no. I mean, still, like, you couldn't even just do that to somebody. Yeah, I'm not mean.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're not mean.
I'm not mean. Are we going to have that conversation again today?
Listen, I said you're not mean. Are you okay? Did you breathe?
My son told me I was intimidating.
I mean...
Not the little one, the 22-year-old.
I mean, okay.
You agree?
Yes.
I don't. I think I'm so kind.
Yes, you are. Listen, you are very kind. But if somebody cross you, they just better make sure there's something they want to do and that it's worth it.
I call that normal.
I mean, okay. Listen, I ain't judging you. No need to be defensive. I'm defensive.
Well, I found it offensive.
Well, I'm not intimidated about you at all, but, I'm like... Well,
lies. You are probably more than anybody.
What?
You know the strength of thunder and lightning.
Listen, okay.
I wish see, this is when I wish it was a visual podcast.
Yes, because y'all just saw my face. I'm like, what?
You should have saw my muscles.
I said, what? Oh, Nelly.
Will you quit with the "oh, Nelly"?
Oh, Tim.
That's weird. Why do you be a horse?
I mean...
I don't know what's happening with him. I'm thinking that he's going to be the Headless Horseman for Halloween, and that's what he's working on.
Nope, Black Lightning. Get it? I'm black. It's like that. Oh my God! Can't get it right all the time.
Your jokes are missing today.
I mean, for real. But I'm not gonna stop. I'm swinging.
you go ahead, baby.
I'm gonna get one of them. One of them I'm gonna get. I am going to get one. One I'm gonna get. Okay.
We need to do this podcast. I need to go to the Dollar Tree.
We're literally doing the podcast. So what's the topic on today? You were talking about the topic.
So what I'm going to talk about today is you.
Wow.
And, well, but...
Can you be more detailed?
You're ADD.
Okay.
Because you're ADD.
Are you asking me?
No, I'm telling you, but I already know the answer. Because I know the answer.
Oh, okay.
So, I'll give you a little intro. For those of you who... I'll put it for the choir folks that listen to this out there.
Mm-hmm.
You probably know the choir guy that I knew before he became my friend, and you didn't seem ADD. When I know you personally, then I see your ADD.
Right. And I am ADD. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. But the thing.
So I don't want anyone out in the podcast world think that you just looked at me and diagnosed me.
Yeah, no, he's ADD.
I am ADD.
But, like, that's not my diagnosis.
Because somebody's going to say, I'm saying, who is she?
No.
She just Googled it and said, you're ADD? No, I am ADD.
Yes. He's an adult with ADD. But to see someone with ADD like him, who is not medicated, has done behavioral therapy only for it, function. One, it makes us, well, it should make us non-ADD folk grateful for our non-ADDness. And because it's amazing to me to see how someone functions for the things that I take for granted. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I love your ADD too. Because I can't imagine if you didn't have ADD.
Well, I don't see my ADD as a hindrance. I'm aware of it. If that makes sense to you. I mean, it serves me well, particularly when it comes to multitasking things. But there is a flip side to it also, you know. And so there are some pitfalls in it. And we will talk more. I'm sure we'll get into that. But I don't see it as a hindrance. And I don't use it as a crutch. It's like I'm aware of it and I got to do certain things to get tasks completed.
So, how old were you when you found out you had ADD?
Adult. I was an adult.
Were you shocked?
I was not shocked. I was in denial. And I don't understand why I would, because back in the day, you know, any kind of title that you get when it comes to behavior or academics, it's almost like a taboo. You know, oh, really? I'm so sorry. You know, and I was never medicated for it. And at this age of my life, I won't be medicated for it because I think it'll change my personality and change, you know.
Let's talk about that because that was one of my questions. So since you skipped
I'm sorry. No,
way to give more information before I ask it.
Yeah.
So you are, and I will phrase this: you are anti-medication, but not for everybody, just for you.
Yeah, and anti is a strong word, even though that is the correct terminology. For me, it won't serve me. It'll take something away. If I I'll become too focused. I already become hyper focused when I'm very task oriented, so I get locked in. But if I end up taking medicine, it could take away my personality, take away, you know what I'm saying? And so I've lived this long without it. I try my best to find behaviors or techniques that I can survive through it, because sometimes you can become overwhelmed.
Well, I think that would have to be. I'm sorry, I had to adjust.
Yeah.
I think. Let me move this. Okay. Sorry. Back on track. I think that would scare me to take a behavior medication as an adult, not knowing. Yeah. Like that, not knowing. Yeah. Would be scary to me.
Yeah, for me, it takes me longer to complete things. Like it's interesting. There are certain things it will take me longer to complete than a regular person. I don't even know regular that's not even, the next person.
Right.
It'll just take longer because sometimes your mind wanders. Or sometimes, you know what I'm saying, I gotta do this, so I try to develop tasks or behaviors, something like to keep me on task, if that makes sense to you.
Right.
You know.
No, I mean, because it would be that it's scary to me to think like with you, because I mean, like, if you're depressed, by all means take antidepressants and all of that. I'm not like medication all day every day, but this is something that changes something that you've adapted to.
Yeah. The thing.
And so how would you unadapt that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that would be.
It's emotionally, it's sometimes hard. For instance, this weekend, my ADD served me well because there were a million different things. Some things could be fixed in 2 seconds. Some things had to be fixed a little longer. I had to step back, analyze the situation, make a list. I need to do this. And I went. I had no time to deal with my own emotions of fear, or, I didn't have time to delve into my own. Well, what about this? What about this? I had too many people I had to think about, and too many people I need to take care of to make sure that the performance went off well. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying I could deal with my emotions of certain things after the show, and so that I became hyper focused on, okay, does Clay have what he needs? Do we have this over here? Does this person have that? Does that? How is the orchestra? You know what I'm saying? And I got people together and so on and so forth. That's when the ADD kind of serves you well, because I didn't become freaked out of the situation. I said it's gonna work out. Now let's do this, and do that. Now the thing about it is, oftentimes people who don't have ADD, it's hard for them to relate to people with ADD, because they may say, "Oh, they're taking on too much," or "I don't know if that person's really organized." You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or it's stuff like that. It's like you really have no idea what you're talking about. So you have to constantly be careful, because people will label you.
Hello, I'm people.
People will label you based off of what they can't relate to. And anybody in the ADD world, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, but like for me, as a
type A all day, every day.
Type A all day.
Yeah.
Who I am a control freak.
Right.
I'm organized by nature.
Right.
Irritatingly so at certain things.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
But the difference is, albeit, I could do as many tasks as you did on Saturday. Mm-hmm. My anxiety level would have been sky high.
Right.
And by as many tasks, I'm saying put it in my world, not in
yeah.
I know none of that.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But like, I have went to work, I have been overwhelmed, I have had things that I've had to do and make decisions and figure things out quickly, and it is not for me, that life.
Right.
It makes me anxious. I will worry for 6 months past an event and 3 months before. I have already started worrying. Mm-hmm. Like, I hope everything goes well and everything's perfect and I can get my kids the perfect Christmas and make them have a good Christmas this year. Mm. We're 2 months out. Like, Christy, you've already got some gifts. It's not what and then I do that in my head.
Right. Yeah. A couple things I want to go back.
But go. You do this. Every time I bring that kind of stuff up, it's like, it'll be fine.
I mean, for real.
You don't stress it.
No. And now I'm going to come back to it, is something I want to go back to, is that sometimes that you're labeled based upon someone else's expectation.
Huh?
Sometimes you're labeled based upon someone else's expectation of what they can and cannot handle. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
I don't.
Okay. Because we went back, we trying to shift it. So I just move on. So an ADD person needs to know who you are, and not, if you're ADD, you have to know who you are and be really aware that some people may try to dictate to you what you can and cannot handle based on not having the whole information or not being able to see how they can do it.
Well, and
I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Well, but let me interject too.
Yeah.
On that. That's for you. For some people, if they don't know what they can and can't handle, they might need to listen to somebody else.
Yeah. That's for me. Exactly. Well, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
Because you 50.
Right. So, but I get that. But I had to learn that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if somebody's listening that's an adult right now that's 24 with ADD, they might be like, I'm not going to listen to what my dad tells me I can and can't handle, because I know, and really, no, you still don't. You need to listen to your daddy till you can figure it out for your own self.
Well, the thing about it is, but I'm not saying that. It's more so of, for instance, I don't know how to say it. You know your limits. Be careful not to allow someone else to define your limits or your abilities based off of information that you're still trying to acquire and learn how to handle. For instance, you was talking about if you would have got stressed out of ADD. The reason I didn't get stressed out about this weekend,
I'd got stressed out at the concert.
Yeah, you got stressed out. The reason I didn't get stressed out, I've learned this. I can be as organized as possible. Something will still go wrong.
That's the truth.
And at the end of the day, if I don't have, and sometimes in this field, things rapid fire at you, like 3 or 4 things at one time. And you have to be able to say, okay, I can't do that. That's when my ADD jumps in and helps me. Because like, okay, how did I learn that? It's because on all the choir trips I took as a high school choir director, and we have everything planned out 6 months in ahead of time, and you can have 5 or 6 things to go wrong. Or you weren't as organized as you needed to be, and all of a sudden you got 6 to 12 things, and you have to learn what to take care of and what to let go. And so it's like that's where it benefits you. What ADD hurts you sometimes is that you will have incomplete tasks because you'll forget. Mm-hmm. And so how do you fix that? For me, I write a list, but then you have to have a running list. You know what I'm saying? It's like the thing about ADD, you can have your list, and if you have 3 or 4 tablets with a list on, we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
I'm saying?
And receipts. You gotta have one list, however you organize. You know, I write my things down. I gotta write my things down. And I gotta remind myself to write my things down. And then if I don't get through it on Monday, I gotta flip the page, transfer everything I did from Monday, write it on Tuesday.
Or your leftovers.
Or my leftovers. Because if not, I will miss something. This is where my ADD gives me problems. Because I have missed a whole other, I forgot about that. Or how we talked about, write on your calendar on your phone and write it. I have a big calendar that I got to write things in, and I have my phone calendar. And I have them, so whatever I put in my phone, I try to put it on my paper calendar also.
There you go, paper, yeah.
So I can have 2 going things. That being said, for my ADD, that's a lot, because there are sometimes I'll write it, but I won't put it in my calendar on my phone. And then I say, oh my goodness. So I literally have to do that. It's the exact same thing with emails. It's like, I got to check your emails, Jeff. Or, because sometimes I'm really good at it and sometimes I'm not. And it's like, oh, and then you got to be careful, because then that affects someone else's timeline or what they got to get done. And so you have to be aware of other people's time and respectful of other people's time, because sometimes people ain't gonna care about your ADD. And that's why I say ADD is not a crutch for me. It's like, I know the pitfalls. Anytime I just get irritated if someone looks at me and sit there and say, I don't think he can handle that. You don't know me.
Yeah, well.
Stop. You know what I'm saying? This is when we're going to have a problem.
Well, yeah. I think that I've watched you. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it. And like, there's a lot of things. I think that a lot of people who haven't experienced somebody firsthand with ADD, there's a lot that you don't get. And there's times that I've wanted to literally cry for you. Mm-hmm. Because to me, I take it for granted that I can sit down and read an email and be like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'll answer that when I get back, and I can go to the bathroom and answer it.
And I can't do that.
And he don't ever come back, but his computer's up. And then he went to the bathroom, but then when he was in the bathroom, he saw that he didn't have toilet paper. So he went to the store to go to Publix to get the toilet paper. And then while he was in Publix, he realized, hey, I don't have any salmon for lunch. So he got salmon. And then he came back and he cooked the salmon. And then I was like,
but I never finished the email.
But then I call you while you're going to get the salmon. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, hey, I was wondering if the store, if Williams and Sonoma, I wonder if they've got this peeler. Uh-huh. And you would be like, let me look it up on my phone. But while you were on the phone, you went over to Facebook. And while you were on Facebook, then you saw it was somebody's birthday.
And I said happy birthday.
And you said happy birthday to them. And then once you said happy birthday, then somebody replied to that comment. And they said, hey, I'm at Five Guys. And then your salmon spoiled in the car because you met him at Five Guys to say how you doing. And you never returned the email.
Yep. And that's exactly what
happens. And you lost 4 hours of your day.
And I lost 4 hours of my day. And that's when I make a mental note. Don't do it. And if I feel myself doing it, I say, oh, ADD. and I lock right back in. And so then I'm like, okay, then I got it done. So that's the pitfall of ADD, is that sometimes tasks don't get completed. And that's why at the end of the day, you have to go back and go through your list to make sure that you got things done. And then you think of stuff in the middle of your list. God dog it. Oh yeah. That's a great one.
Yeah.
You know, and so but I don't see it as a hindrance to me. I'm aware of the difficulties of it. Growing up, I got so frustrated in college. Like writing my dissertation was really hard for me and that's how I started to learn literally how to really focus in. It's like I would look and say, oh no, I got to have chapter 12 done by tomorrow. I'm just kind of, and I would get overwhelmed thinking about the chapter. And that's when I said, nope. So while you're thinking about the chapter, can you write a sentence? Because then I focus on the sentence. Then the sentence turns into a paragraph. Then the paragraph turns into this. And then I start to sequentially build it, and I block everything out. No TV, no this, and I just focus. I just streamline my energy like that. And that's how I do it. And now, even to this day, going through writing my dissertation, it taught me how to focus through ADD. It's literally that way. I literally just break things down to its lowest common denominator, almost like you worrying about the big picture. You better think about a small victory. Okay, I need to just do this first. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like baking a cake. You are so focused on the end of the end result of this beautiful cake, but you didn't put no flour in it. You know what I'm saying?
That's such a good example because I literally do that. Literally, when I bake and make a birthday cake,
right.
I'm not even thinking about I swear to you on my life, this has happened, that I have been so focused on what the cake looked like and making sure I had the right bags and the right tips and stuff to decorate the cake with. I did not pick up flour at the store and had to go back and get it.
Yeah. And I get it. So for me, for my ADD, I think about the flower. I have a picture. It's like me building a concert, like planning a concert. I love it when we have choirs, orchestras, all this stuff right here. And then I think, okay, I got the vision in my head. Now let's go to the beginning of how can I build up to that vision. And then I start building, looking, okay, I need to call the orchestra players to make sure I have enough money. Then I need to do this. Then I need to make sure that the choir have buses to come here. And then I just start and I just get locked in. But then I write myself a things to do list. And then I go through oh no, I forgot this. And I saw if I got the salmon and then I didn't return that email. And then I go through that. And then I say, I got to go back to it. And so there are days that I've done so well, but then there are some days I have not done well emotionally. ADD can affect you emotionally sometimes. If something hurts your feelings, sometimes it could linger more. You know what I'm saying? And then it could affect your whole day sometimes.
Yeah.
And, because you're ADD, and then what, and then what, and then what, and then what. And then so you can literally, with ADD, start to self-prophesy. Oh, no, not that word. It's a project. You can almost project a problem that's not there. And then you can put your own color on it and your own, your own insecurity. And then your ADD starts shooting off like, and then what, and then what, and then what about, oh no. And then before you know it, you have nothing down on your list.
Right.
And you are sitting in the same spot for an hour thinking about things that you could have checked off your list. And you got to bring it in.
Yeah, and
that's when your anxiety goes up high. Because then all of a sudden, you may call, hey Jeff, can we talk about something like this? I can't do it right now. I can't. Or if, mom, family, hey, Jeff, and then all of a sudden your anxiety goes because you know what? You don't have your list completed. So therefore, anxiety comes when you have an incomplete list when you have ADD. I'm just saying.
Glory. That sounded almost like a sermon at the end. But I will say this.
And then on this day. Okay,
I was like, okay, he's still going. So when I read, because I make printouts because a lot of it sounded like you just to kind of pay attention. That I thought that was crazy. You are very sensitive.
Very.
I don't think most people would think that you're as sensitive and as easy to have your feelings hurt as you are.
Right. Very much so. I've gotten a lot better.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
No.
I mean, I think it's...
It can be a bad thing.
Oh, well, I know it can be. But I mean, I'm not saying that like,
Yeah.
sensitive little...
No. It can be a bad thing. I'm telling you it can be a thing. But I've gotten so much better at it. But go ahead.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's been many times that I've been like, really? Come on now.
Yeah.
Like, I've tried... Because, I mean... And it's one of those things that, like, really and truly, he's sensitive. Like, he jokes. You joke and you'll play. But, like, you really are super sensitive and tenderhearted.
Yeah.
Like, you get your feelings hurt.
Yeah.
Because you try. And I think that's one of those things that, like, when you try and you try and you try and you feel like you put your best foot forward and you're not appreciated, it hurts your heart because you trying and trying and trying. To be fair, and I'm not knocking myself in any way, shape, or form. I love me. But
for real.
I'm just saying.
For real.
But there's a lot more, and I see it, that goes into you trying and trying than me trying and trying.
Yep.
If we do the same thing, it's going to take a lot more from you than it is for me.
Yep.
To get there.
Right.
And it would hurt me too, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it would hurt my feelings too.
It's one of those things that, and this is not even an ADD moment, it's one of those things that, because I am tenderhearted, and I want to, I want to give my best to people. I do, but then I started realizing through my life's trials and tribulations is, love those who love you. Surround yourself around people who are healthy for you. And you keep it there. And that's how you do it. You keep it there. You can't force feed yourself to people who don't want to.
Right.
That's not your problem.
There's people.
I've lived that life.
There's people.
Lived that one.
There's people that we mutually know. Mm-hmm. I've been friendly to multiple times.
Right.
Don't acknowledge my existence. Mm-hmm. Did care. Tried. Don't care anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think those type of things bother you longer. It's like, listen, I tried 4 times. Now I'm done. Like, you're just angry now.
I'm more like that now. I'm more like, okay, that's too much work. I'm not doing it no more.
Did I rub off?
I don't know if you rubbed off. I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
I mean, that's facts too.
I just got sick. Okay.
So let me give you a little bit of my research.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What do you find more interesting, big pictures or details?
Depends on the situation. I find big pictures more interesting. I like details to find out how to get to the big picture.
Fair enough. I know that you've said this already. Mm-hmm. Is it hard to plan ahead, organize, and prioritize? Prioritize for you. That's when you struggle with.
Yeah, prioritize. Not planning ahead or being organized. No, prioritize.
Because everything for you is 911.
Everything for me, because everything for me is. I don't see one thing more important than the other.
I know, it's so weird.
I don't. It's like, so I can organize it all, but it's like you have to pick and choose. You know what helps me? Honestly, it fixes me. What date comes first? If I gotta do something for tomorrow, I'm focusing on tomorrow. The next day, I'll take it the next day. If I had to prioritize things. It's the day. But
that's the thing to where if you got to do something for the thing that's 2 weeks from now, but you need to have it by then, is that where you get like squirrely?
It depends. It depends. Not all the time.
Because then you would put a note on your list that you have to have these things, which would then be that day.
I almost have to get more detailed on which date I got to get stuff done by.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a work in progress.
That's crazy, man.
That's a work in progress. Yeah.
Okay. Are you more awake in the evenings, and do you find it hard to fall asleep?
I am. No, it's not hard for me to fall asleep at all, and I'm a morning person. I'm not a night person.
That's irritating. Can you focus so deeply that you don't notice anything or anybody else?
Absolutely.
Yep. Can you get overwhelmed by some activities such as paperwork, tidying, and planning?
It depends.
Do you have an area that you dump in? And I don't mean like poop. Like where you will just throw things to deal with later.
I don't know.
Like papers, mail, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so. But just got to remember to go back to it.
These are all like things that are typical of an ADD person.
Uh-huh.
Are you very intuitive, empathetic, creative, or an unconventional thinker? Well, yeah.
I'm both of them.
All four. That was four.
Yeah, I'm all of it. Yeah. And people don't believe that, and I'm like,
listen,
you know it's true.
You gonna argue on this one? I think I think you're gonna lie.
What?
I think you're gonna lie.
You've just foreshadowed what we call it.
Do you often act impulsively and react quickly without properly reflecting?
It depends on the situation. Because all the times I don't.
Boy, I've seen you get snap mad.
But listen, I know me better than all y'all.
Let me tell you my favorite. When we were in the mall parking lot, and that woman about pulled out in front of you.
That's not ADD, that's human. Like,
no, you freaked out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to die. I'm sorry.
We were going 10. Nobody was dying. We were going 10 in a mall parking lot. And then you say...
I forgot.
He said, oh, gosh. Oh, you're so great. You went, you better watch it.
Well,
and you had your finger across my face in the front seat. And we shake it like she saw it through your murdered out tinted windows.
Who knows?
Oh.
She felt my energy and stopped.
I know, I felt it. And then I started laughing. That was funny. Yeah. I was like, wow. Okay. Have you ever been called lazy or felt lazy, such as in school, or told you should try harder?
No.
When you're in school? When you're little? They didn't
when
do
I
that?
was little. When I was little, because I was lazy. And my ADD was off the chain. So, yeah. But when I met my 6th grade teacher, Mr. Ivory, listen, you can have ADD, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, ADHD, and put a Z on the end. You're going to be focused in his class. He didn't play. He did not play. One of the best things that happened to me was my 6th grade teacher, Jesse Ivory. Okay,
so are you easily distracted and drift off while reading or in conversation?
Yes. Reading.
You do it in conversation?
Not in conversation, but reading.
I think you do on the phone in conversation.
That's why depends. That's why I like Audible books.
Right.
Because I like to listen to when I'm working out or walk. Audible books are for me.
Yeah.
Because we turn the page.
This one, is it hard to go through established channels and follow proper procedure?
It depends.
I think you get frustrated with procedures if procedures have not been presented to you in a way that you understand.
I disagree. It's not that. No, it's not that at all. It's more so if it's going to take 12 years to get it done. I'm like...
I'm thinking about when we had to reinstall the router because they had messed up your internet. Like...
But I don't count that. That's
what I was thinking, like procedures. They didn't explain it to where you understood what they were saying.
Yeah, but that's different. I don't see that way. That's a snapshot of a... Yeah.
That's what I think of as procedures, though. Like step by step, like build a piece of furniture or something.
Oh, no, I was thinking about something else. So, well, no, I'll buy some. No, I won't. Listen, when it comes to furniture, I will pay somebody to come do it.
Guess who you pay?
Anybody. Sorry.
Christy Greenberg.
I mean, I'm 51 years old.
Charity starts at home.
So, oh well. But listen, I was doing this a long time.
No, I'm saying pay me to build your furniture. Anytime you need somebody, I'll build it.
Oh, okay, Hammer.
Look, who put together? I put your smoker together.
Okay. The whole point is, I've been doing this a long time.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to bid for my own self.
Okay.
I'm trying to get some, what do you call it?
I don't know.
I'm trying to get some extra cash, Jeff. That's what I'm trying to do. There we go. Okay, I'm trying to get a gig. Okay. A gig. That was the word. I'm trying to get me a handyman gig.
Okay.
Don't fake smile me.
I mean, I'm glad you noticed it.
I ain't scared of your fake smile because I'm handy. Okay, so let me keep going. This is something that I do. Maybe I got it. It says, You become too focused on something like sorting the pencils by color or the crayons.
Yes, Lord. That's you. That ain't me at all. I can care less.
I think I just like that because I can find my colors when I'm using them.
I can care less.
I really think that that's not ADD on my part. I think that that's just function over form.
I don't know what it got, because neither one of us are experts in this.
No.
So I don't know.
Well, you're kind of an expert. You're the one with it.
I mean, I'm an expert in it. I just learned how to live with it.
Loosest things necessary for everyday life.
Sometimes. What?
Only thing I think that I've known you, but you've worked around it with a tile, was like your keys.
Yeah, I that's what I said. Sometimes I'm thinking about my keys. Other than that, I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Fidgets. Do you fidget?
What's the fidget?
Wiggly, shaky.
Yes. My leg.
Do you realize that you do it?
Yeah.
Does it like soothe you somehow or something?
No, it just does it.
Oh, okay.
I talk to it.
You talk to it?
So come on, baby, relax now. Calm down.
You're so crazy.
It talks back. Okay.
Acts as if on the go or driven by a motor. Yeah, you do at times. At times, you like a little dude with the wind-up thing in your
I
back.
am hyper and driven. And sometimes I'm judged by it. Oh.
Has difficulty waiting in line.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of it.
I mean, that's what I was like, is that ADD? Because, oh well. Yeah.
Interrupts or intrudes on others, for example, will interject in a conversation, game, or activity, may start to use people's things without asking or receiving permission.
Not at all.
That's Jacoby. Jacoby's ADD.
Yeah, that's not me at all.
Kidding. Okay, so one of the things that I thought that was like this made me think of you a lot, this sheet that I'm getting ready to kind of talk about for a second. Mm-hmm. And it is from Dr. Russell Barkley.
That's Tyrone.
And Dr. Russell Ramsey and Dr. Ari Tuckman. And they have a thing. And
Dr.
it is
who? Harriet Tubman.
Ari Tuckman. Don't make fun of the doctors. You're going to get us sued. He's not making fun of you doctors. Okay, so.
She didn't get it.
Harriet Tubman, I got it. I just didn't think it was funny. It was another joke that missed.
It wasn't.
Missed. Strike. 4. Okay.
Go ahead.
He had to take a swig.
I'm sorry, yeah.
So he said one thing that is a snapshot is that you can be impulsive. And what that means is that you have to learn to stop and think. That
yes.
ADD goes and doesn't think, stop and think. And so they were talking about behavior therapy and stuff, which I found interesting. And so like when you're going into a situation, there's certain things as an adult you have to realize. If you're getting ready to get on an airplane, was like one of the examples that they gave, you're going to have to wait in line. There's going to be people with you, and you almost need to give yourself like affirmations as you go.
I don't go for that.
No, but I mean,
yeah.
I'm saying like what they said because of, and maybe like you might not now, but you probably did in some way, like in your life, realize that like maybe not talking in words like the way that we're talking right now, but you got to where you were aware, like, okay, these things don't work out well for me, so let me go into this knowing that this doesn't work out for me, so I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Emotional self-control. A lot of times people with ADD can get more upset than what people call normal for the situation, can be explosive or unpredictable, and can feel emotions more intensely than the people around you, which can cause you to get frustrated very easily. And they said with this, that doesn't mean like a raging maniac, like screaming, fighting.
Right.
It can also be the total opposite. So overly grateful, so excited, so thankful, so overwhelmed, can cry.
That's more me. Because I know if I get angry, it ain't cute. So I'm well aware of my own temperament. So I will. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of what it said, is that you had to teach yourself that your temperament is...
Right. I'm trying to say I was the other end of the crying. And because if I go to the other level, I will go slap off. You know what I'm saying? So it's more so of me let me remove myself from this situation because this ain't healthy.
But so what he's saying is true, though, that there is like an emotional, you have to create an emotional awareness as to how you react.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Time blindness. Time doesn't exist.
What does that mean?
That I've seen you do this, and to where I've seen you work around it. You will say, okay, I got to be here at 11 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need to make sure that I'm out the door at 9:35 because that will get me there at 10:15, and if I'm there at 10:15, then that gives me at least 30-40 minutes because it's a 30-40 minute drive. So if something happened, I've got almost double the time to get there, and I'll get there on time.
That's exactly.
Like you literally chop down.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And then we'll look at the clock and then be like, okay, I should have had my hair washed by this point. I got to go. I don't know if your hair washed, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, for
that's
example,
true. That's exactly what happens.
So because you're time blind, like so what he's saying in that is a sense of time. You could sit down to watch a movie or get a cookie, and an hour could pass, and you don't know where that hour went.
Yeah.
And the reason that you don't know where that hour went is because you sat down to eat a cookie, but when you sat down and ate the cookie, then we can do the whole salmon situation.
Yeah.
You saw something on the floor and you went and picked it up and said, oh, that's a nickel. I'll go put it in this.
That's why I remove certain distractions like social media or ESPN if I want to look at the sports channels or the politics channel. You know what I'm saying? There are certain things, if I got to work, I have to remove it. Because it's too easy for me to gravitate towards. And then become emotionally, and I don't know if it's in there, then you start to become emotionally invested in anything that you're watching. Celebrating someone's birthday on Facebook, seeing some news on this, looking at that, or catching it. You become emotionally invested in it, like, oh, that's messed up. Oh, great job. Oh, whatever. And next thing you know, 30 minutes don't went by. Just like that. That sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's a gangster. I'm just joking.
Then easily distracted. You just said that, like you proved that. And so it talks about how your brain's favorite mode is like, it's hard for you to do things that you hate to do. So you will try to make you like to do things that you hate to do.
Yes.
Because we're like, I'll just be like, I hate to do it and I have to do it anyway.
Yeah. Because I don't, and that's so true. For me, it's more so, I can't stand for anybody to tell me I don't have the ability to do anything. You're really not good at that, are you? I feel I am good at anything I put my mind to. That's me. If I invest in it and learn how to do it, I become adequate enough to become good at it. You know what I'm saying? And that is something that I've dealt with my whole life, being labeled.
I think it's good for you, though. Like, you don't try. I don't feel like, from what I've seen, I mean, maybe you do. I could be totally wrong. But from what I've ever seen, I don't feel like you act like you know anything. Or, I don't mean like you act like you know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're always looking for people to teach you something.
I've always been that way. And the reason why is I wanted to just kind of be the best version of myself. So therefore, I want people to teach me, because the more, I'm well in tune of what my strengths and my weaknesses are.
Right.
Something. So I try to learn all I can. The issue that ADD people have sometimes is that when someone labels us to say, oh, you're not good at that, or you can't do that, that's the thing that sort of gets us kind of off our rocker, because guess what? We can do anything that,
anyone else can.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
You just might have to do it a different way.
I might do it a little different way. It may take a little longer. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's about the process, not the product.
Right.
So, I used to tell everybody 2 times 2 is 4, regardless of when you finally learned that it was 4. It ain't gonna sit there and say you took too much time and now we're 5. We've changed to 5.
Unless you're Microsoft Excel, because then you change every minute.
Listen, because you got ADD, so therefore it's 5 now. That's not
right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So you have you fight that. That's something you constantly fight, and that's when you gotta know who you are, and you have to believe in yourself, and
but you'll ask for help when you need it.
I mean, no, know who you are. Knowing who you are is asking for help.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm putting it. Listen, college professor.
What you talking about?
I'm putting it in layman's terms.
Okay. I mean, I don't know where that came from, but go ahead.
No, I'm saying like what you just said. You're like, well, that's what I said. You must know yourself. Sometimes, and I'm saying sometimes you need to ask for help. I know you meant the same thing. I was just saying it easier.
No, if you were
layman's terms.
When y'all Anyway, so what you were saying?
He's being condescending to me right now. I see it. Say what you want to say.
I literally said that, but this is not a tit for tat, and this becomes a waste of airtime when we do this. So that's why I
think it's a good time. Airtime.
So I was like, I'm not participating.
We're wasting podcast airtime. But this was a lot. It's a lot. And I mean, I just want to say, like, as your friend and as your business partner in this, I've seen you grow so much. Like, realizing, listen, that was a bunch of garbage I just said. It's not that I've seen you grow so much. I've got an understanding of what you do.
Right.
I should say. Like, learning like you saying, I'm not a podcaster. I'm not a podcaster. This is you. Well, now you say, I'm a podcaster.
Right.
Because you've learned it.
Yeah.
You know what has to be done and when it has to be done. And
it doesn't take a lot of time.
No.
It's really hit record and talk.
It's, well, I mean, but you're getting to where you understand the back end stuff and other things that we've got to do and the website and stuff like that. And I've seen it with Orlando Choral Society where you have like different things that are not, I mean, listen, computers aren't your forte. Like, it's not your favorite thing. Music is your thing. And you have forced yourself to learn what you need to learn for computers and some kind of complex programs.
Right.
So, to me, that's top notch.
Yeah, and the thing about it is for people who are ADD and ADHD, and all that stuff right here, it's more so about learning strategies that work for you to complete your things to do. It's your task. Right. And for everyone is different, but be aware of it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Learn how to use it to your advantage. I'm in the field of music, so it works for me if I'm conducting like orchestra, choir, then you study it, but then you can also, what if you're conducting and all of a sudden your baton flies out, or you
incoming.
You do all kind of different things. You got to jump on your feet and just go. So there are some things about this that help. Understanding that, write out strategies that can help you through it. Those who need to be on medication, that's I get it. I respect that. That's not what I'm saying. When I was growing up, that wasn't diagnosed like that, and it wasn't that type of thing. Now that I'm old and I realize what it is, for me, that wouldn't serve me, because I would probably get so super focused that,
you could lose your personality and your fun lovingness.
And that's part of who I am.
Well, because you've learned to work around everything. Like, if you did it now, then you would lose part of your personality, I think. But then some people might not. Some people, it might be great for them. So, I mean, what we're saying, you got to make a personal choice for that. But, seek a diagnosis from a medical professional. If you think that you've got it, get checked out. Get proper treatment, whatever that is for you. It could be medication. It could be behavior therapy. There's all sorts of different things out there. And then just build a scaffolding of support for yourself. Like, let your loved ones know, the people around you know, and make them aware that you might do things a little differently, but that don't make it wrong.
And, and there are times in which a person has ADD. And I'll take you and I for an example, perfect example. You'll call me and say, hey, Jeffrey, we need to talk about this. We need to get this, da-da-da-da-da-da. And what would I tell you? I say, listen, I want to give you what you need. I want to, but in order for you to have my undivided attention, I need to finish this. And then when I get that done, I will call you. And then, because I want to be able to give you what you need so we can be successful in this. So for people with ADD, that's one way that I have learned. You said you acknowledge the person that you're talking to and say, hey, I want to be there for you. I want to give you what you need, but I can't at this point because my mind is everywhere. Let me get this done and I will be right back with you. What does that do? It acknowledges them, one. Two, it also lets them know that you're working through your stuff and you need to get it done. Three, you want to be present to give what's needed to make it all successful. You can't do it when you're split in 5 different ways.
Right. So, it's spooky Halloween time.
So, I don't have it mastered. It's just a work in progress every day.
And I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm done talking about it now.
Hey, whatever. Good for me too.
Did you hear me? I said happy Halloween.
I mean, okay. Happy Halloween.
So, it's your last call today, guys, for your spooky Halloween stories to be read back to yourself. So, get it together. Thank you so much. Happy Halloween. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and not really Twitter. We don't really do anything there. But follow us there. And then also, what else were we supposed to say? Rate, and review. Subscribe, rate, and review. We would love it. It would make us so happy. And it would be a good Halloween present. And I love Halloween. Thank you so much. So thank you for listening to
Red and Green,
the podcast.